Hello, all, and welcome. We are back with another episode in the series AI plus HI Shaping the Future of Work. In our last episode, we had Dr. Guido Minaya and returning guest Angelo Biasi, founder of Solvably and Credibly AI, having a two-part conversation on the Solvably platform and the Credibly AI certification process. Moving on, in this episode, we have a special guest with us, Cynthia Mackey, who is the founder of Winning Strategies and recently completed a 2-month UC Berkeley executive education program on AI. Stay tuned to learn more. All right, now before we dive in, I did want to offer a quick bio on our special guest here today. Cynthia Mackey serves as the board chair of Tech Exchange. Since 1995, Tech Exchange has served the city of Oakland, California in providing free, refurbished computers and resources for low-cost internet access to youth, families, the school district, and seniors. In recent years, Tech Exchange has expanded their mission to bridge the digital divide by also providing digital literacy training. They are taking that revised mission across the entire Bay Area, from Contra Costa County to the South Bay. In addition to providing over 15,000 computers to residents, Tech Exchange has diverted over 700 tons of e-waste from landfills. Cynthia is also the principal of Winning Strategies LLC in Oakland, California. Winning Strategies has emerged into an interactive agency specializing in mobile, social media, and web application development, assisting clients with how to best apply solutions to meet their online business goals. Clients have included local and state governments, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, advertising, and interactive agencies. Businesses with annual revenues ranging from $2 million to $1 billion. Dr. Minaya, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you for having me back on the show, Dario. And it is a real treat to have a conversation with a dear colleague, Cynthia, who, as Dario mentioned, is based in California, in Oakland. And Cynthia and I have worked on several large-scale projects over the years and just had a lot of fun. I think since back in 2010 is when we met around then,
I think
Cynthia.
so. Mhm.
Yeah, and as a brief
We won't count.
we won't count, yeah. But as a brief refresher, our recently announced Minaya AI Center of Excellence was born from a vision to make our own company more efficient and effective by using AI. And as we began researching various approaches about a year ago, it was through this process that we made a strategic decision to gain knowledge and expertise in this emerging field and help other companies move down the path of understanding and leveraging AI. Well, Cynthia recently completed a very innovative AI program presented by UC Berkeley, and the program focused on AI business strategies and practical applications. So I just look forward to learning more. So welcome to the show, Cynthia.
Thank you, Dario, and thank you, Guido. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, great, great. Well, you want to share a little bit more about your professional background and what inspired you to enroll in UC Berkeley's? I mean, even going back to your internship, which was a pretty remarkable internship, right? When you were going through that for your business school.
Yeah, so, well, just I sum it up in multiple decades now, summing up my background as an engineer and getting a master's in telecommunications right before the internet and web was born, as they say. And so over the years, I worked in the fields of manufacturing, supply chain, and then I moved into telecommunications, which led into internet products and services. So that's kind of my educational and experience background. And I formed Winning Strategies when I learned that small and medium businesses didn't really have the access to the knowledge of internet at that time. So the business goal was to focus on small medium since there were already large agencies of which I worked for that were focused on the big companies like at the time Sony and Levi and IBM and Oracle. All of those big companies often worked with large agencies and big six organizations. So that's my background. And then in the internship, I think you're talking about way back. I always called Berkeley my first university because when I was in high school, I qualified for what they call the Professional Development Program or PDP. Some people may be familiar with Upward Bound, which was for students that had a capacity and seemed to be doing well in high school. And PDP was a program where they tested us at a college level of academics. So that program was college upper classmen and graduate classes. So it was sort of like when you run a marathon, it was pushing the bar so that when you actually landed into a university, that you would be more, prepared for university work. And so that's what happened for me. And so I always call UC Berkeley my first university. So this opportunity came up when AI was being indoctrinated in so many businesses and so many people were using it. And being a technologist, I just had concerns about the fast adoption of things, particularly people who don't often know what they're adopting. And it's not unusual in the world that we live in, but it can be challenging, alarming, and not always added at the best time. And so that's what inspired me, Guido, to take the UC Berkeley course. I was looking for a course that wasn't going to teach me how to code. I've done that before in my early career. I really wanted to look at what would help me as a consultant and what would help me understand sort of the framework of AI. What is it? How does it work? And how do you decide and help clients strategically utilize AI to the benefit of the organization? I'm also concerned about the challenging uses or the misuse of AI in the area when you have good things and then you have bad things like fraud, using images to identify the wrong person for something. And so when you study these types of things, at least for me, I like to look at the whole sphere of what is possible so that I can advise clients as well of what to be wary of and also increase my knowledge in that area. So that's what really inspired me to take a course. The professors at UC Berkeley are, some are entrepreneurs. They're obviously quite accomplished. And I'm certain that's the case for other organizations too. But it was just an opportunity for me to go back to Berkeley virtually. It was an online program and benefit from their knowledge as well as the knowledge of all the various students, many of them who work in corporations as well.
Great, great. Sounds like a lot of motivation to join the program. And what would you say was your most valuable insight or concept that you gained from the program?
Yeah, so that's a really, I thought about that. So there's several, but one of the best insights is the adoption and implementation of AI specific to organizations' needs. I think sometimes when you hear people talk about AI, it seems like that omnipotent thing that you can just plug it in like a Lego block and boom, it's going to do everything you need magically. And what I learned in the course is that there are some applications that aren't ready for AI because AI actually could be limiting. The training data isn't there to really fully benefit the organization yet. So there are solvable problems and some problems that aren't quite there yet. So one thing about an AI course, I took it, I finished in March, so I'm certain it'll be one of those courses that evolve quite a bit by March of 2025. I took it in 2024. So you want to look for those solvable problems where AI makes a difference and an advantage, and it's not a disadvantage or is repeating work that you may already have a successful solution for. So that was something that was eye opening. And also, the other thing for me, being new to it, the fact that a lot of the data often requires human involvement. So, labeling the data so that the AI algorithms and solutions can make the best predictions or analysis as possible. And that extent of human involvement can be significant. And I wasn't aware of that. And I thought, wow, that's something that I didn't get. So those are kind of two sides of AI that I thought were beneficial for me that I learned in the program.
Interesting. I mean, the program covers topics like generative AI, machine learning, AI strategy. And which topic do you think had the greatest impact on your understanding of AI in the
Ooh.
business sectors that you're focused on?
I think for me, it was quite a bit because it was a dump. I mean, I Berkeley did a good job. He really could have made it 6 months probably, but being aware, and I think many of the programs, the certificate programs, exec ed, are 2 to 3 months. But it's a lot, and they try to give you enough information so when these terms come into play, that you have a grounding of what they are and resources perhaps to look more into it based on the need that you have. For me, my general focus now in my career is equity. So, working with Tech Exchange and closing the digital divide from a nonprofit perspective. But I also look at equity within the solutions, and do we have access, whether it's an internal customer or an external customer or consumer? Do we have equitable access to the data? Does the consumer or the customer feel like they are a part of the solution as much as the client or corporation can allow? So that equity helps defray, some level of privacy and trust because you're working online with these solutions. So with that focus, the algorithms and how they respond to the request, the machine learning and defining the data sets. How do we do that in the best way that it meets the expectation of that customer so that you kind of achieve that equity? The customer, the corporation achieves what they're looking for in the AI solution, while the customer, internal or external, feels heard and that they're getting what they think they're supposed to get. Now, in some applications of AI, the customer may not interact whatsoever. Um, but there's an example that I saw in the news that I thought I would share, and I shared it on LinkedIn as well. There is a gentleman who had a home warranty program, and many of us are familiar with the chat programs that you go online and you ask a question. Many, I can't say all, but many are run by AI. And the program had told him, he asked, "Can I apply for a refund for this particular something that went wrong in his home?" And the chat responded, "Yes, you can submit that." And I think it was a $3,000 check that he would get. Well, it turned out that the chat was wrong. And so the company said, "Oh, no, you don't get that." And he said, "Well, I was interacting with your chat, which was an agent of your company." And so it was a very interesting dilemma that had come up. And so those type of things, one would argue that it wasn't really prepared for or studied all the way through. And now I think there may be a potential, hopefully they'll just settle for the 3,000. It should be something that's reviewed by the organization. And that's what I mean in terms of this exchange, that the company can trust that chatbot is performing in the way that it should according to its rules, its warranty. But the customer can say, "Hey, you're only giving me this chat. I'm not able to speak to a live person. So I expect it to be right. I expected to do the right thing by what my question was." And so those are areas where I think sometimes AI is the big solution, but we don't look at that interface solution if it is interacting with the customer, whether they're internal, a downstream customer service or repair, or it's external. So that's an area based on my industrial engineering background that I take the most interest in. And it's a big area because we're just coming, more and more people are coming online with AI, and they just really haven't looked at those issues. I think they've just adopted it potentially for cost savings, or it does save a lot of time in terms of information and number crunching and things like that. So that's
Wow.
kind of my personal interest, to try to
Interesting. Yeah.
find the equity in that.
Right. That reminds me of a training industry webinar I attended in early October, and it was a panel of experts discussing the state and future of AI and extended learning. And on the panel was Dr. Tony Driscoll, who is a research fellow and academic director at Duke University. And he was sharing that he is creating chatbot doppelgangers of himself or as he phrased it, counterfeit versions of himself to better support his students. And so, for example, he doesn't have enough hours in the week to meet all his students during office hours. And by creating a digital doppelganger, he can now share his knowledge with them through a chatbot. So, to your point earlier, Cynthia, given that he's providing the right inputs to these bots, students can receive the needed guidance. Well, Cynthia, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. I'm excited about how we can all leverage AI to continue to increase our productivity, improve performance, and just ideally, make the world a better place. Dario, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right. Thank you both so much for sharing these insights on AI business strategies and applications. Until next time.